How are we doing, folks? For this one today, we're back at Morrison's, our favourite supermarket. What feels like my second home these days. I'm having a bit of a chill one today. I just thought I'd run a quick 1.5 hour shift from Morrison's that I managed to see on the Flex app earlier today. Thought it'd be nice just to get out and do a nice, hopefully easy route. And we've only gone and nabbed what is possibly one of the highest mileage routes I've ever had on a 1.5. So we've got 21 bags to pick up, and look at this. We are going from Taunton up to Bridgewater for the first drop, and then from there all the way down the M5 past Taunton to Wellington for the next one, and then we're carrying on down to this random ass village down here for the last drop, and from there I've got to get back to Taunton. Now, I have been wrong in the past about mileage when I've just been looking at the map before I set off, but this one doesn't look very good. We're literally going from the middle of the delivery area right up to the top edge and working our way all the way down to the bottom edge on a 1.5 hour. Right, no time to waste then, I guess. It is 26 minutes past 3. We're gonna officially start the shift here. I'm gonna go and get these bags loaded up in the back of the car. We've got ourselves on the road. Here's our load for today. I did manage to get it all on one trolley. And a nice empty boot ready to go. I did accidentally leave my car seat in there, but we should be fine with what we've got here. All right, got the boot packed up. Got another order in the back there. And for the 4 bag order, I've got them on my front passenger seat. I've just got to take my trolley back and try and find a rack where it will actually work. The racks in this Morrison's are a nightmare. Half the time you go to them and you can't get the trolley out because the thing won't accept your pound coin. And look how messy they are, man. They're full of rubbish. And we're good. All right, all packed up, all good to go. Let's get ourselves on the road. Apple Maps giving us 19 minutes to this first drop, which doesn't sound too bad, but when you consider then we've got to do an even longer journey to the next drop, probably going to be about half an hour, and then I'd say probably another 10-15 minutes to the last drop. It's going to be looking tight, and every second counts. Please, Mr. Driver. Yeah, I've got a feeling this is going to be one of those routes where I don't think it's going to be too difficult in terms of the locations or anything like that, but yeah, mileage wise, this one is looking pretty nasty. Can turn a potentially great earning block into a really kind of average or even poor one. Like I said, we'll just do our best and make what we can of this one. We're going to be on the motorway for a lot of it, and we are slightly lucky, I guess, in receiving this route during half term. So kids aren't at school, which means traffic on the roads generally is quite a bit lighter, especially in the evening. The evening rush hour is nowhere near as bad, so hopefully that will work in our favour. I've got to say, I'm still a bit surprised at the sheer mileage we're going to be covering on a 1.5. These are becoming a bit of a pattern lately. I definitely think Amazon are really pushing the limits of what can be fit into a 1.5 hour Morrison's block. And look, I don't blame them for doing it because the base pay is relatively good. £28.50 for 90 minutes. It's close to £20 an hour base, so I'm sure they think they can justify pushing the mileage to the limit on these routes and making sure that drivers, for the most part, are working every minute of that route. I can't blame them from a business point of view. Obviously, you know, you want to maximise productivity, especially when you're paying you know, a lot more than your competitors do. Certainly compared to food delivery, you know, just under £20 an hour base. You're not getting that from Deliveroo and Uber 99% of the time, so yeah, we'll just have to see. 12 minutes from here to drop number 1. Let's try and make what we can of this pretty high mileage route we've got ourselves. All right, coming off for Bridgewater now. Luckily, where we're dropping to is a house in like this massive new housing estate they've built just off of the motorway. So we don't actually have to go into Bridgewater, literally just straight over at this next roundabout and we're in the estate. So pretty handy considering we are coming straight back onto the M5, going back down past Taunton into Wellington. So it is now 2 minutes past 4. So what's that? We've been out for, well, we've been working, including the loading up, for about 36 minutes, is that? Yeah, so, and we are just arriving to drop number 1. Hopefully all of these drops go nice and smoothly and we're not going to be facing any big issues with parking or going up flights of stairs in flats or anything like that. I think the hopes of us getting back to Taunton by 5 o'clock are very slim on this one, which obviously I'm aware is a bonus. That's not what Amazon include in the block times. You should only expect to be done with your last delivery by your finish time, not be back home. I don't know what is going on here. What? I know there's no road markings, mate, but it's pretty obvious you come into the middle if you're turning right. Anyway, we've made it. Drop number 1. Let's get this one done. All right, so we're getting rid of this order from the front first of all, which is nice. I like having my passenger seat free. Put my GoPro cameras on and stuff like that. Hopefully I can grab them all at once. Just about. Yeah, all right.
Cheers.
Quite heavy, a lot of these,
Yeah,
mine.
that's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
Right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, take care. All right, one down. All right, this is the drive that I was worried about. But Amazon is actually saying 22 minutes, that's all. And yeah, Apple Maps saying even quicker, 20 minutes. That's not too bad. That means we could still get our last drop done with some good time left. I think this is all just helped by the fact that we're on the M5 for most of it. Obviously on the motorway you can cover the most distance in the shortest amount of time. But it still stands that the mileage is going to be quite high, right? So we're just going to have to be mindful of that, and hopefully my skill level at determining mileage from looking at the itinerary map is still bad, and it's not going to end up being as many miles as I thought. But I know full well that this last drop that's going past Wellington into like the villages that are kind of south of it, that is definitely the end point of the delivery zone for Morrison's in that direction, because I've never been further than that. Yeah, we're relatively close to the north end of the delivery zone, and we're going to be going definitely close to the south end, so I'm just hoping when all said and done I'm wrong and the mileage isn't that bad, because as it stands I'm expecting the mileage to be like 30-35 miles. So let's see. I mean, yeah, we've got 16 miles from here to our second drop, and then we've got another drop after that which looks like another 4 or 5 miles, and we're currently on 6.7 add 3 because I got to the motorway before I remembered to zero it. Yeah, we're looking 30 plus, that's for sure. And I know off the top of my head 30 miles is about £4 in petrol at current prices. Yeah, it doesn't sound a lot, but when you're earning £28, that immediately drops to 24. Do you know what I mean? Just from the mileage, and then you've got to take into account how long it's taken you as well. But I will say, I feel like I have gotten lucky with these Morrison's routes quite a lot as of late, so I was due a bit more of an average one. Or certainly one that just doesn't pay as well in the end. Especially after that Amazon logistics block I did in my last video, where I did very well at the end of it. What was it, like £20 an hour or something I made after expenses? Anyway, let's get the tunes back on, get down to drop number 2. Every minute is precious. Actually, a quick question for my viewers who do Amazon Flex. Have you noticed things getting busier again yet? Have you noticed blocks becoming more available? Have you found it easier to pick up blocks, be it Morrison's or logistics? Because now that we're in, like, what, well past the halfway point of February, we're getting close to March now, I expected things to have picked up even just a little bit, but in my experience it absolutely has not. And bearing in mind, I check the Flex app quite a lot, multiple times a day, every day. I've seen maybe 2 logistics blocks at Exeter come up, and if I'm lucky I'll get a Morrison's block once or twice a week, and they're the ones I'm really looking for, you know. I do those most. Just cannot seem to find them. And I would have thought the Morrison's blocks wouldn't have been affected by, you know, seasonality. People do their grocery shopping all year round, but yeah, they're so hard to get. I wouldn't normally even make a video doing one Morrison's block, but it's all I could get. If I keep waiting for the day where I get 2 in a row, I'll never be covering Morrison's blocks again, and that would be a shame. I like covering these blocks. So yeah, if you do Amazon Flex and you've been patiently waiting since the new year for things to pick up in your area, have you noticed any improvements since the new year, or are things just as bad? Because for me, if anything, it's a little bit worse than the new year. Like, it's actually gotten less busy since the start of January, which is a shame, really. Those of you who watch my videos know that I really like doing Amazon Flex. It's one of my favourite ways to earn money, but can't earn a lot of it these days. It's really disappointing. It's not like the old days, not like when I was growing up. where you could get 2 Morrison's blocks every day and then a nice logistics block in the evening doing the same day deliveries. You make 120 quid a day, easy. Yeah, hopefully things pick up. I'm still hopeful as the year goes on, we'll get back to a place where you can pretty much do work on Amazon Flex every day. I remember towards the end of last year, there were just dozens of blocks every single day. There was no shortage of work. Obviously Christmas is a big factor in that, but even well before Christmas, during the summer, during the autumn, no trouble getting daily work on Amazon Flex. So yeah, hopefully those days are set to return relatively soon. Alrighty, nice little stint on the M5 there, coming to an end now. Oh, I hate it when it tries to take you up that dodgy ass lane. It's no quicker than just taking the main road. So I'm going to ignore that and go all the way around here. I think whilst the mileage is slightly shorter going up that lane, it's kind of bypass this section. If I remember rightly, it's a single track lane, and once you've been stopped by an oncoming car that you've got to move out the way of once or twice, all of your gains are just ruined, so you might as well just go this way. So we're 2 miles 4 minutes away from drop number 2 of 3. It's 25 past 4, so we've got 35 minutes to get this drop and the next one done. This is the order with 6 bags, so we've got the biggest one last. The 10 bags order is going to be our final drop. That's when you hope that you can just like pull up right next to their front door, right? Especially when you've got that many bags. Because when it's a flat and you've got to do like 3 trips up a load of stairs, back to the car, that sucks. So hopefully, I'm guessing, seeing as we're going out into the sticks for the last drop, it's going to be a house. They tend to get blocks of flats out in little villages, so yeah, I don't think that will be too much of a concern, but just waiting now to get this drop done and see what the final trip looks like, how many miles it is to this last drop. But alas, at 29 minutes past 4, we are here at our second drop. Just check if they're in before I put them all at the front door. All right, let's grab the rest for you now. Just 2 more bags. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, take care. Oh, there we go, 19-minute drive to the last drop. Let's just check the miles. 8.1. Yeah, this is definitely on the higher end of things. You wouldn't want to get a route like this every time. And judging by the overview on the Amazon app just then, I've never delivered to this area before, so I don't really know what to expect. Just got to crack on and get it done, eh? I guess this is the main downside of Amazon Flex compared to working on like Deliveroo and Uber Eats, is that on the food delivery apps you get to choose whether you do or don't do every single delivery that gets offered. You can see where it's going and you can just nope right out of there. But with Amazon, obviously you're getting paid slightly more on average and you're sacrificing that choice. You get what you're given. And I know a few other food delivery drivers around Taunton that tried Amazon Flex and they just packed it in after a few weeks because they hated the randomness of it. And to them, part of the appeal of gig work is that you're kind of in control of your day. If you don't want to be going out and doing long distances, you don't have to. When they pop up on Uber, you just say no, and you do the short distance ones that come up. You just don't get that choice with Amazon once you're in for a block. You could get a beauty where you're done within like 3 or 4 miles, but you get a route like this one where before we've even thought about driving back home, we're going to be on 35 miles. Just under, and considering we're earning £28.50 for this route, before even the drive back to Taunton, we're making well less than £1 a mile, which I know for many people is kind of, that's the kind of line they want to hit with gig work. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you're earning well above that. I know that. You can get lucky a lot of the time, and ultimately they balance out these routes, but it's still a bit, when you get them, you know. But yeah, I can see on the map there we are soon to be leaving the A38 into some joyous countryside driving, which can go either way. It can either be absolutely fine or it could be an absolute nightmare. So we'll see. Just coming up to our turning now, and we've got just under 5 miles to go still. Been up this way before, but definitely not for another 4 miles. So yeah, heading into new territory. I don't love how far away I'm finishing from Morrison's. I feel like, even though in my last video I said I'm going to be doing my numbers from the end of my deliveries rather than including the drive back, I feel like for this one it's kind of important. I'll just throw both sets of numbers up. How about that? And actually, I did have a comment from somebody who I've been meaning to reply to, but I haven't I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it before replying, and I still haven't replied because I still don't know what I think. I'll throw the comment up. He basically says, why are you worrying about your expenses when they're all tax deductible anyway? Ultimately, what you're spending on fuel and insurance, you're getting back in money off of your tax bill at the end of the year, which in a roundabout way is very true. I use simplified expenses, right? So instead of billing for all those things individually, so I get 45 pence tax break per mile, but that covers everything, right? That covers fuel, insurance, repairs, purchase of new vehicles. So can you imagine if you have to buy a new car one year, that 45p per mile ain't going to cover, it isn't even going to come close for a full-time delivery driver, especially as you consider after, is it 10,000 miles? The 45 pence drops to, I think, 20p or 25p. Basically, your value for money goes way down. So in many cases, it's actually probably better for me to maybe not use simplified expenses and track everything individually. I don't know, but either way, I think he raises a good point, which is as car drivers, whilst we do have the expenses of fuel and insurance, in theory, you get that money back off of your tax bill every year. And it made me think, I thought, is there actually any point in me putting the expenses up? Because he is right. And it's part of the reason that my tax bill every year is pretty low, but it's only low because I've already spent the money on the insurance and the fuel throughout the year, right? So you're putting the same amount, you're just kind of putting it in different places throughout the year. So if you're knowledgeable with that kind of thing, accounting and all that sort of stuff, let me know if I shouldn't even be doing my expenses and I should just be counting what I make after a shift all as profit. Let me know in the comments, because I still don't really know exactly what the most fair way possible is to break my numbers down at the end of each video. Obviously, I still struggle with the fact that I can't account for car repairs and wear and tear in my expenses breakdowns, because you never know. Do you know what I mean? You don't know how much wear and tear you've caused your car at the end of one shift and what ultimately it's cost you. It's impossible. So whilst I try my best to get as close as possible, maybe it's all just wasted effort, because yeah, ultimately it comes off of my tax bill anyway. I don't know, somebody who's more knowledgeable with this stuff, let me know in the comments. Should I be listing expenses and taking it off and counting my hourly rate just from the profit after those expenses? Or because those expenses are ultimately going to be reimbursed to me through my lower tax bill, should I just be counting my total revenue for the shift all as profit and forgetting about doing an expenses breakdown whatsoever? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, we're finding ourselves on some pretty narrow lanes now. We are only 1.3 miles from the drop though, so not too far to go. This isn't particularly the kind of terrain I wanted to finish on, if I'm being honest. Thankfully he let us go. Oh God. Potholes galore. Right, let's get our head down and cover this last mile to this customer. Right, here we are. Let's get this lot dropped off. All right. Yeah. There's 6 bags as well. Let's grab them for you now. Actually, last 2. Thank you. Nice one. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye. All right, folks. We got it done, and we got it done with 7 minutes to spare. The issue is there is quite a big commute to get from here back to Taunton. So I've actually ran 2 sets of numbers. The first set of numbers I'll throw up now, but we've made actually a respectable £15.49 an hour. They're the numbers right up until now, so not including the time or the mileage to get back to Morrison's. However, once you take into account what is actually a 37-minute drive back to Morrison's and 15 miles, once you take that into account, my hourly rate goes from £15.49 to £9.66. I've lost more than £5 an hour just because of how far I have finished from the depot. That is a pretty good case to Amazon that they should probably consider paying us based on that distance back to the depot. And now I'm wondering if it was a mistake in my last video to not include the commute back, because when you're losing £5 an hour based on where Amazon have sent you to, regardless of the fact you got the deliveries done in time, I've now got to spend a load more resources getting back to where I started, which again, you would have to do if you had parcels to return or bags to return. And when you include those numbers, it goes from a good wage to an absolutely awful wage. So now I just don't know what to do going forward in terms of tracking expenses. It's actually really difficult to do accurately. Like I've mentioned, I can't track wear and tear easily after every shift. There are differing opinions on whether you should include a drive back to the depot after an Amazon block. And ultimately, it might all be wasted effort anyway, because as somebody in my comments mentioned, all of these expenses are tax deductible. I get them back through reductions in my tax bill every year. So I don't know what to do. I try to drill the numbers down at the end of each video to provide as much information as I can about the real money you earn from doing this job. And generally, I think people would consider a difference between doing a high mileage Amazon route and a low mileage. They would assume they've made more money doing the low mileage route, but then you're claiming less miles in your tax return, therefore getting less money taken off of your tax bill. So does it all just even out anyway? Oh, somebody please tell me what I should do. It's tricky. It's really tricky to figure out the right way to break my expenses down. There are so many different ways you could do it, and I don't know what the right way is ultimately. I don't know. Somebody please enlighten me. For the time being, I'll just continue doing it the way I've been doing it, because it's always kind of made sense to me just to figure out how much money I've put in my pocket after that shift, regardless of whether it's reduced my tax bill at the end of the year or not. But maybe I should reconsider. Anyway guys, sorry to complicate things at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one. In a bit.